Hello. So I just wanted to jump on really quick and just share a testimony. This testimony is super personal and very close to my heart. But come on, so many of us are parenting teens, and I feel like this story is going to be really encouraging for a lot of you. Um, they're ripping apart the street outside, so I apologize for all the extra background noise. But so my daughter and I are actually really close. We have laughed over the years and said we cannot wait until she's 18 so we can actually become best friends. Just because for most of our childhood we got along so well, and we just were so much alike. We just love being together. And not that long ago, we had a situation where she had an attitude, and come on, it creeps up every once in a while. And in her attitude, she made a decision that actually affected a lot of other people. Okay, so what? It's called childhood. It's called being a teenager. It's called being human, right? And so in that, I kept asking her and encouraging her to clean up her mess, and she wouldn't do it. And it went on for like days. And, come on, guys, sometimes when there's a conflict, if you just resolve it right away, it creates less of a mess. But when you ignore it and you let it just sit there for days, it actually gets worse and it affects other people greater. And so this went on for several days. And I finally was like, okay, you need to clean up your mess now at this point. And she decided it was better that she moved out than clean up her mess. And I'm like, you don't move out under circumstances like that. You don't move out. Like, this isn't the way we do it. We didn't do 18 years of this parenting journey just to have you up and leave one day. And she's like, nope, I'm going to go. It's better that I leave. And she literally packed up her room. It's funny. There's parts of the story that are funny now. But let me tell you, it is not funny at the time. It is not funny at the time thinking that your daughter is choosing to move out underneath these circumstances. And so she packed up her whole room. She put it in our van. We have an extra car. So she put it in the van. And I am like, feeling all the feels. And I'm like, do I run after her? Is this just like this huge attack from the enemy and I need to go after her? Is this like, I just need to let her go and clean up her mess and like figure it out? Like, what is this? But my mama's heart is just feeling like this is not how I saw my first child leaving my house. And it felt so like it was such a small deal that was turning into such a massive deal. And I let her go. And I remember standing by the front door. I was on the inside. I could see through the window. I could see her car start to leave. And I remember I was like, Lord, I don't think I'm gonna make this. This like taps into any unhealed place that I had. So sorry about the construction outside. Any unhealed place that I have about my own trauma, about growing up and moving out at such an early age. And it's amazing how loud trucks can be when they're going by. They're street cleaning so that they can retar the surface. So I apologize for the noise. But anyways, it touched on any unhealed place in me. And but I felt like I was supposed to let it go, so I did. And so I went in my room and I just kind of wailed and just did that ugly mama cry for a few minutes. And I just was like, what am I gonna do? This just feels so overwhelming to me. Called my spiritual parents, was on the phone with them, and crying it through. And come on, moms have a lot of emotions over children's choices sometimes. I just had to get it out. And in the midst of it, my daughter texted me and she said, well, I don't know where I'm going to go. She's 18. She can't get an apartment like that fast, and she can't get a hotel at the age of 18. And she had to be at work in a couple hours. So it's all funny now, but it's not funny at the time. And she said, can I come back to your house until I can figure out what my next step is going to be? And I wrote her back and I said, sweetie, I never kicked you out. I said, your house will always be your house. Your home will always be your home. Will always be your family. You decided to come out from underneath that. But I said, you can come back and clean up that mess of that choice anytime you want. And so she came back and it took a day or two. It took a day or two. She was able to journal her heart a little bit better than she was able to talk about it. And what happened, this is really powerful. This is the part that I want you to see. She kept saying, it is better for you that I move out because I'm just going to do this again. Do what? Have an attitude, be human, be imperfect. Like none of that part was making sense to me. And as I was asking her questions in her journal and she was able to respond it so much better in that area, It came out when she was a very little girl, very little girl. She had made a mistake. She had made a mess, and she had. Let me say this about her really quick. I've never seen in her that she's like prideful or like there's just some people that are like kind of arrogant and like they won't clean up their mess because they're like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like that's not her heart at all. Like she's super, super tender. Like she really does care about other people. But there's something about when she has to go say, I'm sorry, and even if she feels remorse, there's something about it coming out of her mouth that has always been a struggle for her. And so it came out that there was a story of when she was really little, very, very little girl. She had made a mess. She did something, and this person came down really hard on her, like over extreme hard on her. And I was just getting bits and pieces of the story. And this person was really mad at her. She had stuck out her tongue at them. And I was trying to protect her from this person's anger, but yeah, I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so she was like, doing the cry where she's like, just couldn't catch her breath and just really distraught over it. And I asked her, I said, well, why were they so upset with you? And, what did you do? And she said, well, I stuck out my tongue. And I said, Lauren, that's not okay. I said, we don't do that in this house. And if you're frustrated with somebody, there's other ways to do it. And sticking out your tongue for an adult is really disrespectful. And so I wanted the other person to know. I remember the events. And I wanted the other person to know that I actually cared a lot about character because I felt like when this person was upset with my daughter, I kind of like got in the middle of it. And then this person was mad and feeling like, well, you're just letting your daughter get away with it. And so I remember I brought her back to this person and I made her apologize. I made her say that she was sorry for sticking out her tongue. She did that. And as she was still sitting on my lap for an hour later, she was still very distraught and crying and just could not calm down. And so I asked her, I said, oh, well, why did you stick out your tongue? Sticking out your tongue is wrong, but why did you stick out your tongue? And the sweet little girl just broke down and sobbed. And she had tried to jump up on their lap and go sit on their lap, and the person pushed her off. And then she stuck out her tongue and did a thing. And then that person came down hard and was trying to discipline her for it. And I remember it. I remember that night. It was pretty intense. And the next day, this person walked out on her life and she didn't see this person again for years. And I realized in that moment that it wasn't that she can't be humble. It wasn't that she can't clean up her mess. It's that she associates saying that she's wrong with losing somebody. She has associated, now her teen brain knows this, but the little girl inside of her where that memory got locked, is she associates saying I'm sorry with being rejected. And there's just something where it's like she's just had the hardest time doing that. So we got some healing for that and took it to Jesus and repented and it became a beautiful testimony. But this is the part that I really want to communicate that I want you guys to see. There's sometimes we move into parenting with our kids of right and wrong. This is wrong. This is what I have to do. I have to get you to do the right thing. And sometimes, and that's true, righteousness doesn't matter. But there's a time and a place where we just have to yield to a God that knows how to write out the story. This is the message of today. Sometimes we need to get really good at surrendering and trusting that even though your child is packing their bags and leaving on terms like that, that as we yield to God, that God knows what He's doing to write that for good, to work that out for good. I'm not just talking about ending things well or clean up your messes. I'm talking about what if her attitude and what if her mess and what if her leaving was all what God had in mind for getting this heart splinter that happened at such an early age out. I think sometimes we get so into this is good, this is bad, this is okay, this is not okay. And we miss the mark of yielding to a father who is their creator, who knows exactly what they need, when they need it, how they need it. And I feel like it was a wake up call to me to partner with him, which is a good thing, but also to make sure that I'm yielding to him. And since then, since that situation, I feel like I've seen so many opportunities around me and also in my own personal parenting where I'm like, this is a yield moment. This is a yield. I don't know how you're going to work this out. I don't know how you're going to make good from this. I don't know how you're working this out for the story. In my assessment, this seems bad, but I'm going to yield to you as the father that knows how to work this out. And over and over again, yielding to the father produces the results that needed to be produced. And say this, as much as that child ripped my heart out with her choices that week to not clean up her mess and then to leave the way that she did, it was so hard. I am so glad she did. I am so glad that she did, so that that heart splinter could get resolved, that always in childhood can get resolved before she actually moves out of my house when the time comes. So anyways, I just wanted to give you that little bit of a testimony on yielding today.